Here live from the DHS Stadium East Field on the campus of Darien High School. Liam Tomaszewski joined alongside Darien High School cross-country player Eli Marshall. I'm Liam Tomaszewski, and we got a great one ahead of us today. Some of the best teams in the FCAC for both the boys and girls squad. So overall, what do you think we're going to see here today?
We're going to see some great racing. Between the three teams on the boys varsity, these are some best teams in the FCAC. So definitely some great competition, I think we'll see between the teams.
Yeah, so overall, these teams definitely doing well in the FCAC. Of course, Ridgefield, Fairfield Warde, New Canaan, and then the home Darien team will be here playing in this quadruple meet here. Of course, the only meet on the schedule for this, or excuse me, the only home meet on the schedule for this Darien squad, as the varsity girls will get lined up for this one. Of course, we want to see, today is senior day for both of these squads, so we'll see the girls' senior day photo there, and of course, going to be really great. A lot of seniors on this Darien High School girls squad, so want to give a shout out to them. Of course, the boys, and we are underway here at the Stadium East Field. Girls getting a nice kick at it as they go. New Canaan and Darien taking that early go. So, Eli, you're a runner here for this boys team. Just kind of give us a run through of, how practices go. And then, of course, the home course here is something new. It's only been around for 3 years. So overall, what have you liked about it?
So during practice, there's a lot of effort from everyone. We all train hard for the meets. And for the course part, me personally, I've never raced on it. This is my first year doing cross country, but I do know the trail. It's a pretty interesting trail. There's a few hills, but it's mostly flat, which is good for the runners.
Yeah, mostly flat trail. Of course, you have the uphill by the Darien High School Oval, and then you get into the Diller Park area, and so we just see the girls getting ready to go past the baseball field. First leg of this varsity race. So you see there we have our drone shot of course, we can't see the girls as they go out of range from the broadcast, but we have a drone shot to cover all that vacant territory. Of course, we got the uphill by the DHS Oval and then going into the beautiful Diller Park. Move around that nice Darien High School trail. And Eli, you've never raced on it, but of course you've been on it in practice. Yep. So kind of just give us a nice walkthrough of what it is.
So for the field's obviously going to be very flat. The big loop with the hill, it's obviously a pretty long hill with a slight incline, so there's not going to be very many people like sprinting up it and using the kick to come down. But it will be interesting to see. And throughout the woods, there is smaller hills, but it's mostly flat. And then coming back, there is a pretty steep downhill, I would say, if they're running past that. So we'll see how they do.
Just 2 minutes and 40 seconds have ticked off. Of course, Darien High School Stadium course is a 4,800 meters, so just a little shy of that 5K distance. But, of course, both of these teams looked outside and in for this race. Definitely a big race for both these teams. They try to gain some territory in the FCAC. Next week, of course, the FCAC championships for both the boys and girls.
Yep. Next Wednesday, actually.
And next Wednesday, they will play the FCAC championships at the beautiful Waveney Park in New Canaan, one of the premier courses in the FCAC. You see there on our drone shot the beautiful Diller Park, that trail wrapping around the woods. Beautiful greenery and scenery all across as they make their way around the tennis courts and around the soccer fields of the oval.
Yeah, around the tennis courts is actually very flat. It's perfectly flat, so there'll be a lot of kicks right there.
And Darien, throughout this season, the girls have done well. They competed in the Ocean State Invitational in Rhode Island. Nice cross-country invitational from them, but we've seen them do well all around throughout the season. Had a nice meet at the Staples High School last week, where they came in second place. Where Staples, one of the better teams in the FCX, so Darien coming in second in that one. Big to put them up in those FCX standings. And as for the year as a whole, they've done really well all throughout their meets. Senior leadership has been important, as these teams the girls are still out of range, but they should be coming around. Of course, this will be a 2-loop, so it'll be 2 loops around Darien High School cross-country course, and then a couple different legs for a total of about 3 miles.
I think when they do come around, there's going to be a lot of spacing, as usually there's a pretty big gap between first and last. But since it's like about the middle of the race, we should see some pretty interesting results. We could see really who's like gassed at this point, who still has a lot of energy, and like what's to come.
This area around the Darien High School Stadium East Field, of course, a very flat area after the big downhill by the tennis courts leading over to that stadium field. A flat downhill area. You don't really have another uphill until you get back towards the oval soccer field. So definitely an area where runners kind of catch up, get back to the person you're trying to run with, and overall try to gain some territory.
Oh, there's the car. I think that means they're going to come through soon.
Yeah, the Darien assistant coach, Rashid Sofian, leading that cart. And we see the girls on the far side of this stadium east field. Taking a look at it, looks like New Canaan will have little lead, 2 runners in there in the front.
Darien in second.
Yeah, Darien second. That one looking to be Cam Meyer from the Blue Wave, one of the senior captains on this Blue Wave squad. As the lone group of 3, they have a nice window between. 4th runner will be from the Ridgefield Tigers.
Yeah, pretty big gap there.
And those 3 runners, 2 New Canaan, 1 Darien, sitting tight and close together. So just above 7 minutes have ticked away in this 4,800 meter from the high school stadium East Field. You're watching this game on the DAF Media Network, joint venture between the Darien Foundation and the Darien Athletic Foundation. So you could be here to watch this contest of varsity boys and girls cross country.
Upcoming, we have a pretty big pack. What team is that again?
So that will be Ridgefield in their orange. The Ridgefield Tigers in their signature orange color, and huge pack there, seeing a lot of orange.
There's a Darien girl in there.
Yeah, Darien, lone Darien girl in that pack, but Ridgefield taking the majority along a couple white New Canaan jerseys and a couple black jerseys from Fairfield Warde.
Yeah, now we're going to start seeing a lot of spreading out. We're going to really see who is going to finish in first. And we might see on this lap, we'll see, like, as we saw earlier, the 1 New Canaan between, or the 1 Darien between the 2 New Canaans. Next lap, we could see the Darien has put a substantial lead ahead, or it could be the opposite way. There could be a gap between all 3 of them.
And we saw that meet, the Darien girls. They took the trip up to Danbury to run at Terry Weil Terry Weil Park late in September, and girls put on a good showing. Number 1 from Darien, Julia Blake, she won the meet with a 15:58 4,000 meter race, and then second for Darien. Of course, another senior leadership on this team, Cam Meyer. So definitely really great overall for this girls varsity squad. So again, about 9:30 have ticked off this clock. You should probably see some times around 16s and 17s for both of these teams. And just running, in practice, you guys do obviously long runs, but is there anything else that you guys do in practice to really, get those short runs in? Like anything you do to increase your tempo?
After every long run or like recovery run, we usually do sups, which could range from sprints around the track to stadiums where we sprint up the bleachers, and they really improve our speed a lot, and along with the workouts too.
And so supplemental workouts for the cross country team: sprints, stretching,
Yep.
leg workouts, arm workouts,
Core.
pretty much, yeah, core stretching, everything, checking all those boxes. Cross country, one of those sports, you need the speed, but you also need the endurance and the strength, so covering a lot of territories.
hmm More recently, we have been going into the weight room for sups after practice to strengthen our legs. Try to prevent injury.
And the injury prevention always important for a cross country runner, something that plagues a lot of them, but we hope that everyone stays healthy, of course, during these meets. You feel that cool breeze here, of course. Nice October afternoon here from Darien High School in southwestern Connecticut. So 12:15 ticked off on this clock. Darien Blue Wave, New Canaan Rams, the Ridgefield Tigers, and the Fairfield Warde Mustangs coming in for this big meet, tri-meet as you would call it. Late season, this is the last regular season meet for all these teams. Again, they will meet in the FCAC Championship next Wednesday at Waveney Park. And then after that, it's off to Wickham for states. And you can see these varsities boys squads doing those strides. See New Canaan getting their stretching ready. The boys will go on directly after the girls meet coincides.
There's the cardigan.
Yeah, Sophie on in that cart, so means they should be coming around for that last loop.
Around 13:40 on the clock.
In there, New Canaan, and then Cam Meyer for the Blue Wave. Them two, the lone runners in the lead.
We'll see how it goes on the final stretch on the football field. We'll see how the kick goes.
Leon, just hold it there on that opening. Don't go follow him through trees. Just keep it there. Just keep it there.
These girls pulling in for their last strides. New Canaan in the lead. Cam Meyer close behind.
That's the final sprint.
Of course, final sprint, something cross. Every cross-country runner knows that final sprint, that final leg in the meet is where you want to gain as much territory as you can.
And we see New Canaan finishing first in about 5:03 or 15:03. My bad.
And so New Canaan finishing 15:03, and then Cam Meyer very close behind at about 15:05.
Now coming through, we're going to see a majority of the pack of girls.
As Ridgefield and Fairfield Warde trying to battle it out on the last leg. At 15:56. Of course, the girls running a little bit less than the boys meet. Both these varsity squads getting ready. You see the final legs of these girls. They're sprinting. Second portion of them coming through to the finish line.
Yep.
See the Darien boys team doing some strides as they get ready to go, as girls just finishing up their meet. Hey, Eric, is there a way I could just hear Tyson? Oh, so a little bit here. Yeah, okay.
Is it muted?
Both these teams just finishing up. Ridgefield, Fairfield Warde, New Canaan, and Darien.
Flash.
Alright, that's fine. So both these teams just finishing up. For the girls, boys gonna get ready to start. Eli, overall, what did you see from from all four of those teams in the girls' meet?
I saw a very strong finish from Darien and New Canaan in the front. That was a very impressive time of about 15:03. Right now we're seeing a lot of stragglers in the back, but I think overall it was an amazing race. We saw some amazing times, and overall a lot of PRs.
Okay. He can go. Oh, he turned it off.
That's why I did it from like a mid-range. I'll try to get a little tighter though.
Okay. Listen.
That's so loud.
Stay with your man from New Canaan. Okay, that's your goal today.
It's like choppy.
Try to make sure you listen. You can see, remember, I see the faces. They can't if you're behind them. Right? 1,000 should go somewhere in that, right? That's the time.
Cut it.
That where you eat. We talk on Friday when we do work. You have to off there. Our house, we go out, we protect our house. This is not a house you come in and you stop us on. Protect our house, right? Get everything you have, and let's. This is just, it's a better love. That's what you're going against, a better love low. Guys in top 5, top 6, top 7, man, listen to me. 6 and 7 can displace. They're gonna have.
And we are here live in the DAF Media Network. Just took a little break. We tried to hear from Darien head coach Tyson Cashmere. Of course, our audio was a little glitchy in that one. Got some good stuff, though, of course, saying that this is the home meet for Darien. This is their house, and they're going to have to run the best that they've run the entire year so far. And Eli, we got the boys meet coming up. Overall, what do you think we're going to see?
Some great times. I think the Darien boys team will do amazing. There are 4 teams here, right?
There are 4 teams.
There are a lot of kids here, so we'll see what happens. I think as a Darien home meet, there is a bit of a home court advantage as we know the loop very well.
Now these squads getting ready. Darien all the way on the left in their black jerseys. And then Fairfield Warde, the black and red. New Canaan in the white, and Ridgefield in the orange. Now these 2 teams, excuse me, these 4 teams getting ready. Runners are going. We are off here at the high school stadium East Field. The home meet for Darien. We see, of course, led by sophomore standout Drew Sharon, senior Andrew Lee, Thomas Aponte, all the names.
Luke Zerby.
Luke Zerby taking a Zerby, Andrew Lee, Owen Gluck, Drew Sharon, all in that lead. Darien, a lot of varsity runners in that start.
Yeah, they're starting off with a very strong start, very fast. I think the pace will drop a little bit as the race goes on, but this is a pretty good start.
Yeah, great start as they go on the Darien baseball field. Of course, again, they're going to go up around that loop on the trail, but we are underway here.
The next is the uphill section.
Yeah, the uphill section there. See on your screen there, them just passing that baseball field, and then they will go all the way up past the DHS oval field.
It looks like Andrew Lee is actually leading the pack.
Yeah, so senior Andrew Lee, I know, talked with him at school that he said his knee wasn't feeling the greatest, but hey, he's running out there. He's getting a nice early lead.
He was contemplating running today because at a workout previously this week, he hurt his knees.
Of course, we know on this home course, a lot of these players have ran, but the PR times, PR meaning personal record times for this DHS home course, 4,800 meter for this varsity. Thomas Aponte, 17:39, and then just after him is Pasquale Hoffman with 17:46. We saw them taking that lead in a nice pack. So overall, a lot of these players have great times, but today's meet is going to be where it's all about.
Yep.
He's too far. He's like follow.
Yeah, Dave.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm going to take another hit.
No.
We're going to leave it at that.
Yeah, that's good.
We saw Drew Sharon last year, just a freshman on varsity at the end of last year, injured for most of the season in 2022, but this year he's been a stud on this Darien team. Came in first in a lot of meets, was injured out in that meet against Staples, but he's back here running in this one, and will probably run an FCX last week. Already qualified for states for the Blue Wave, top 7. Varsity guys get to go to Wickham Park up near Hartford, Connecticut for the Class L tournament.
Yeah, there was a lot of talk if Drew would run today, but I guess he was allowed to. But, his hip injury was pretty bad, but it looks like he recovered nicely.
Now we're just going to see again those results from the Darien boys meet at Staples High School. You see right there, Andrew Lee came in first place with a nice 17:50 run. Then junior Owen Gluck, Thomas Ponte, Pasquale Hoffman, Roman Gagliardi, sophomore Avon Mallier, and Luke Zerby. That's your Darien top 7 from that meet at Staples. Darien ran a nice meet in that one, but Eli, what'd you like from that meet?
The course was very hilly. Overall, it was a pretty good meet. There was a lot of rolling hills. That's what I will say, and there was a lot of pavement sections. So it wasn't like it was a pretty complicated course, but there was the first 800 meters of that on the track. So there was a lot of everyone went out pretty fast.
Yeah, I remember running at Staples High School. Of course, you're running up that hill, and then you're pretty much running on the grass along the campus of Staples High School in Westport, Connecticut. And then you're going again on that track for the 2 laps. So definitely can feel like a long meet going on that track twice. And then, of course, with the downsloping hill at the end and then going up that same hill in the beginning. So it can be a lot, but, of course, Staples High School, one of those signature meets for the Blue Wave. They've played there, actually, for the last 3 years in a row. They've had a meet traveling up to Westport. So some interesting fun fact right there. You see there 5:41 on that clock. As we see Sophion in his truck coming around the stadium east field. Should see some runners in sight as we got a huge pack in the front. Seeing a lot of Fairfield Warde, New Canaan, and Darien looked like Darien senior Luke Zerby again in that front pack. Or excuse me, nearing that front pack.
Yeah, we see Drew Sharon in the front pack with Andrew Lee and Owen Gluck shortly behind him.
And Fairfield Warde taking a charging lead in the front, but Darien holding their own there. Drew Sharon sticking with those top 3 runners. And then we see some New Canaan, Owen Gluck, Andrew Lee still in that commanding front.
Then we see Thomas Aponte, Pasquale Hoffman, and Avon Malley.
And so Ponte, Hoffman, and Mallier also nearing there. But both these teams have been running great. The 6:45 ticked off the clock as they will begin their second round above the hill on the DHS Oval. Still see some Darien heads coming through. And Luke Zerby and Roman Gagliardi. Man, there are a lot of good runners on this Darien team all throughout, and especially breeding that depth into the sophomore class, juniors. So this Darien team's going to be looking pretty good for the years to come.
I see Jason Bellingham.
Jason Bellingham, senior captain. And we see directly right there on the baseball field. Nice shot there by director Eric Bellingham putting that one together. As we see the starting varsity group. First grouping, as I should say, is they're just going to come through here. They're going to cut around the stadium. You see a little different of a course from the girls meet. They do just directly 2 laps. The boys do a little cut around, but looks like Drew Sharon there is keeping his nice pace at 2nd place. Owen Gluck, Andrew Lee, and the rest of the Blue Wave team just trotting right behind.
We see a bit of a gap in place. Then we see Thomas Aponte, Pasquale Hoffman, and Avon Malley really holding their own.
Yeah, these fans cheering for these boys in their running. A lot of new Canaan, Fairfield Warde, Ridgefield, 3 very dominant teams, and Roman Gagliardi, Luke Zerby coming on through for the Blue Wave. Sophomore James Powell, sophomore Thomas Marusek. Of course, the names for Fairfield Warde last year, Parker Broderick, definitely a player to watch for Fairfield Warde. And of course, Ridgefield, they have one of the best runners in the state of Connecticut, Stephen Hergenroder. Not sure if he was running today, but nevertheless, great asset to the Fairfield squad, or excuse me, Ridgefield squad.
Then we see Oscar and Brady Eldridge.
So just above 10 minutes and 30 seconds have ticked off in this meet. Definitely runners running extraordinarily well. As again, they're going to go around that loop, around the DHS Oval Field and then into Diller Park. You know, especially for a team like Darien, they had really great year last year. Had some great seniors on the team, Jason Rideout, Ansley Skelton, and Nikki Yu, who showed a lot of seniority in these meets, and now these new seniors are definitely stepping up to the plate well for the Blue Wave. So again, these players out of sight right now, but times looking around. We've seen times in the 16-minute mark, 17-minute mark, so that'll be about the times that we'll see these boys cross the finish line.
Now we see Tyson and Brian Taylor on the field.
So you see there on their screen, Darien head coach Tyson Kashmarek, one of the big pioneers of this Darien boys cross-country squad. So it looks like Tyson coming back around, trying to see his team run. Nearing the end of the meet, 13 minutes, so a couple more minutes left to go. And of course, cross-country scoring goes top 5 who place for these teams score points depending on what place you come in. Just all that matters, what place you come in, that tallies up to your score. Cross-country, like golf, you want the lower score. And Eli, I believe you have ran in varsity meets this year, so just being out there, how does it feel?
It feels nice. It is pretty fast-paced compared to the JV races, but if you find someone to stick with, it's all right. I mean, you PR most times if you're really finding the right man to stick to.
Yeah, I definitely remember being out there on cross country. Of course, definitely a very grueling sport, but overall a lot of fun being out there and enjoying the sport of running. As we're going to see the head of the pack coming around through.
See Sophian's cart. And it looks like New Canaan and Warde in the lead. Now we see, I think that's Owen Gluck and Drew Sharon.
Yeah, so in there for Darien. We're nearing the tail end of this meet.
Stay there just like last time.
That's about 15 to 44 so far. On to the final sprint.
Yeah, the final sprint just under 16 minutes. Final runners coming through for Warde. Looks like Parker Broderick, but he's being tailed by the Rams. So Broderick looking like he will get across that finish line just above 16, looking like 16:14, 16:15 on that time. And Drew Sharon there, hustling up for the Blue Wave, trying to get in, I think, 4th place.
With Owen Gluck close behind.
Yeah, Drew Sharon and Owen Gluck for the Blue Wave, as they will finish off.
In about 16:36.
So Owen Gluck and Drew Sharon very close by, breaking 17. I think that's a PR for Owen Gluck. Yeah, Owen Gluck's previous time, 18:15 to about 16:30. Huge PR there from Darien, as Thomas Aponte again for the Blue Wave. He's going to try to finish his meet out. Aponte, 17:39 was his PR here last year at the home course.
Close behind, we see Pasquale Hoffman and Avon Malley.
So Aponte, a new PR, 17:13 it looks like, and yeah, Hoffman and Mallier closely behind.
Finishing about 17:20-ish.
All these teams running really well, but Parker Broderick will come in first for the Fairfield Warde Mustangs. Andrew Lee finishing up for Darien. So Roman Gagliardi, another standout sophomore. His first home varsity race. So he will get his first PR at just above 18 minutes. And for Darien again, Luke Zerby. All these guys ran great 4,800 meters. Of course, want to give a quick shout out to our DAF Media crew, bringing you all the sights and sounds. In this one, Leon Chen, Dalton Moss, Eric Bellingham, Graham Carter, all doing a really good job bringing you this Varsity Boys cross country meet.
And we see James Powell and Thomas Marushak, 2 sophomores, finishing at about the same time.
And Marusek and Powell finishing just about the same time. Jason Bellingham bringing his way to the finish line. Overall, really great meet from both the girls and boys. Saw a lot of Fairfield Warde guys in front of that boys pack. I assume they will come in first for the meet. These boys just finishing out their meets just above 20 minutes. And not many people know about cross country, just overall the physical exertion that you must do to put in all these meets. These boys and girls work so hard, running every day at practice, trying to improve their times. And here it's great that family and friends can come out to support these 2 amazing Darien boys and girls cross country teams. And Brady Eldridge finishing his meet for Darien, just above 21 minutes.
I think that's all the Darien runners.
Almost should be about it here from the Stadium East field. I think all of Darien's runners have crossed that finish line marker. And just looking down at the PR times that I have on my end from last year's meet and seeing the times that I saw kids crossing the finish line, pretty much everyone got a PR on this year. All right, so it looks like the meet just about ending here. Eli, just want to touch on one thing. Of course, we saw the tri-meet here, but next week you're going into FCX at Waveney, and you know you're playing every single team in the FCX conference, a really powerhouse conference overall. So what do you think people's mentalities are going into that meet, knowing you're playing every team in the FCX?
I don't think everyone's too bothered. I think everyone's just trying to PR and do their own thing. As a team, very excited, but I don't think anyone's really like too scared or nervous about going against these other teams.
Right, so that will do it here from the DHS Stadium field again. Let me give a quick shout out to our DAF Media crew, bringing you all the sights and sounds. in this one. Leon Chen, Dalton Moss, Eric Bellingham, and Graham Carter. Eli, great to have you on the call today. Of course, you missed your meet due to injury, but it was great to have you here to watch this cross-country meet. And I've been Liam Tomaszewski again. When you watch this meet on the DAF Media Network, joint venture between the Darien Foundation and the Darien Athletic Foundation. Thank you, everyone, and have a great rest of your night.
DAF Media is actively seeking financial support. Founded in 2017, DAF Media has quickly become Southwestern Connecticut's source for quality sports, arts, and community programming. If you like what you see on the DAF Media Network and want to help us continue to deliver high-quality broadcasts while teaching lifelong STEM, communication, organization, and leadership skills, please email us at sponsor@dafmedia.org. We are a registered 501c3 organization.